just rip that package open, full thing. Mm-hmm. I get some Dijon mustard, squirt it down the middle, fold it up like a big taco. And
you pig! You eat the whole package at once?
Dude, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I do. Tickets are on sale for KFC Radio Live. Click the link in the bio. Get yours. Come out and hang with the boys.
How you guys doing? Right?
Good, man.
Fantastic.
You look great.
Oh, yeah?
I feel like you're looking trim.
Well,
Not doing anything?
there's no reason for
No,
it.
I know.
No, I've been we can talk about it. I've been taking
Ozempic.
a cholesterol medicine.
Oh, what do you want?
Some kind of statin. One of the statins.
I'm on amlodipine.
Turned my whole fucking blood around. It's wild.
Oh, dude, I think I'm almost dead now.
I'll tell you what, I almost did. I'm going to put a gun in my mouth and kill myself because these are the conversations we have now. What cholesterol medicine are you on? Well, I'm on
amlodipine, kid, 5 miggies a day.
It changed everything. It's crazy.
You could feel it? Like a difference?
Oh, I can't feel anything.
I can't feel any difference, and I'm trying to do other stuff to deal with that. But like, I just started taking these liver cleanse like supplements. Like I forget the name of the one, but it's like a pretty
supplement. St. John's wort.
No, I take milk thistle.
Milk thistle. That's what I meant. I meant milk thistle. Yes.
And then I take
I always
another
thought those things
thing.
were like wives' tales. Those actually work.
Oh yeah, no. I asked my gastroenterologist, and he was like, "I've never even heard of that." I was like,
No,
"You might not be a good
really
gastroenterologist."
I swear to God, these guys got the worst doctors in the world. He always tells me that he's like in some basement talking to some guy who's like, "You can drink your face off. Don't worry
A
about
literal
it."
basement. But this guy's a different one. This guy's old.
My cholesterol was 256, and it's now like my cholesterol's so good now from. Like it's like perfect.
Oh wait, I misspoke.
What's a good number?
I misremembered. I'm on blood pressure.
Blood pressure. I was going to say, I think
my good cholesterol's up. My bad is way down.
What's
dude.
a good number though? I feel like 256 is very high, right?
Total is like one, mid like 160 or something.
You were
like
like
that,
way
I think,
over.
something like that.
I had my
bad is once you hit 200, it's bad.
I had a conversation recently that it was basically like a real life version of Who's on First because I'm so stupid, where my good cholesterol is low. And I just could not understand what she was saying. Where she's like, "Your good cholesterol's low," and I was like,
weird.
That's
good.
It is a weird. She's like, "No, that's bad." I was like, "The bad cholesterol's not good." She's like, "No, the good cholesterol is bad. The bad cholesterol's good."
Did you know? How did you find this out? You got a random checkup, and they said, "Hey, this is high," or you were like feeling something? Because I'm worried. I don't go to the doctor. I just like
is
something
this
hurts or
recording, by the
whatever.
way?
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, is this it? All right. Is it really? All right.
We got about 55 minutes left. It's not going to get better.
I didn't know if we were just. I just did my yearly.
See,
I went in for a physical and whatever.
10 years, so.
I would venture to guess that you are probably baseline healthier than I am. I mean, here's my problem. I never played sports as a kid. I wasn't good at them, and then I never had a liking. Mm-hmm. So then I never tried.
Right.
So that was it. So I was always a big art kid. Like I was into music, and I was in video games and nerdy shit, and comic books and drawing and all that shit. So like. When you don't do that, and that's very not common. Like most kids play some sort of sport as a child, something. And when you don't do that, you are so far behind the 8 ball by the time you get into high school.
Wow.
And so, but I'm lucky. I have a high metabolism, so I should. Thank you so much. I danced between the raindrops, as they say, for many years. Like my cholesterol was fine enough.
Just because you had the metabolism in your body.
Yeah. The doctor would be like, look, man.
So you would be fucking shredded if you had that metabolism and you were in
if I worked out, I could probably really be in some fine shape.
Yeah.
But I've always been Janine Garofalo used to have that great joke. I'm a straight C+ student.
Yeah,
I've never asked the question, will there be extra credit?
Yeah.
Like I am 100%. That's my philosophy.
Yeah.
So I always am into like, what can I how much is enough without killing myself here?
Totally. I don't know about
Oh wait,
cholesterol.
I hear killing myself. I think right away, like you mean the real thing.
That too. I'm not proactively killing myself. I'm doing it slowly because that's enough.
I
don't have to put any effort
I don't have to be
into it.
dramatic about it and put my brains on the wall. I'm just doing it over time.
I've described my life philosophy as I'm quiet quitting. Like I'm not storming into the office and being like I'm fucking out of here, but I'm doing things that make it clear
I'm making my exit.
I'm on my way out.
Packing up that cardboard box.
I think.
But he doesn't have any pictures of his family at his desk. I don't plan on being here long.
Well, I argue this with some of my comedy friends, where or entertainment friends, I should say. I just go, you know what? I don't understand like this mentality that every dollar must be made. Like,
agreed.
Like, enjoy your life, take a breath, have downtime. Like, and look, I have never had millions of dollars waved in my face, but I've been lucky to live a pretty comfortable life, doing what I love to do and being, let's be honest, a fucking pig.
It's like your health. It's like I could be shredded and in so much shape, but I'd rather chill and be just good.
I'd rather be, and this is not a shot at either guy because I'm a huge fan of both of them, but I'd rather, and they're both wildly successful.
Incoming shots. Here we go. I love it.
But it's not a shot. I'd rather be Anthony Bourdain than Guy Fieri.
Got it.
Like it's just
dead.
And I'm a huge fan of both guys.
Yeah.
And Anthony Bourdain was wildly successful, obviously.
Sure.
But Anthony Bourdain, if you like follow his path, he didn't pop until he was like in his 40s.
Late,
But he was always just like, hey man, like have fun, drink the drink,
life.
eat the food,
right. He has that
smoke
one
the
quote
cigarette,
that says all that stuff.
Yeah. And it's like, and I just agree with that more. And like, he clearly was a guy that subscribed to like, hey man, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not going to be a slave to the job.
But like you said, it's funny. It's like, okay, tall, striking, handsome, charismatic, famous guy.
Thank
It's just easier to say, some of these things when you. I wonder sometimes in his like darkest days of in terms of business when he was like failing.
It got pretty dark.
I was not that part
Sure, yeah.
because that was actually the peak of his success, right? But like when he wasn't succeeding, if he was kind of like, well, it's okay because I'm just doing what I love, or if he was like, fuck, I need to make some money and blah blah blah.
There's one of the most inspiring videos I ever saw was him talking about when he got that break. Mm-hmm. I related to it. It blew my mind. Because he was talking and he was just like, I couldn't make rent, I couldn't do this, I couldn't do that, and he was just, and I was like, God, like, I relate to this, like I understand what it feels like to be in this zone with your career, like, and like to be struggling, and maybe I'm very fortunate now to not be in that place, but I've been there. When I moved back to New York in 2019. I hadn't worked in 3 years.
Where were you?
I was in LA.
Oh shit! How long were you in LA?
6 years.
Oh, I don't think I realized that.
For the first three, it was a windfall. I did everything. I worked and I booked and I did all this stuff.
Just on luck, or not luck, but like you just happened to.
It just did all. It was like new. One of the new guys in town, and and like whatever, and year 3, it just dried up. End of year 3, it just dried up. And in those last 3 years in LA, I didn't work. I couldn't get arrested on the road. And when I did get a gig on the road, it was not good. It was not well paying. It didn't really make a lot of financial sense. I got dropped from a major sitcom. I got my manager and I split. It was called Living Biblically, and I was supposed to be a recurring character on 10 episodes, and they told me 2 weeks before the shooting we shot the pilot, they told me 2 weeks before the first table read that I was off. I was gone.
Just the character, or they?
Yeah, I played like an office, like Lothario, and I was kind of the foil to the main character, and they were so mean to me through the whole pilot, and we couldn't understand why, and then they cut the character, and we kept arguing. He's supposed to be unlikable. That's the point. And then, like, right after they cut the character, Me Too hit. And I was like, they knew. They fucking knew Me Too was coming.
Interesting.
And
at least you can, hang your hat on that, though. It wasn't like a...
At least all you need is someone else to blame. And,
I mean, that's what I
Also,
tell my-
I'll say, the last thing you want to be is creepy Lothario when that movement hits. Who knows? Maybe they would look at you and be like, "Oh, that's the guy who was the pig on that show."
I guess so. I mean, I just watched an interview with Taiki Waititi, whatever the fuck his name is, the What We Do in the Shadows guy. He talked about Taiki.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
I don't know what that. I think of him
on,
as the Marvel guy.
FX.
Well, he made the movie What We Do in the Shadows. He
we're all thinking three different things.
yeah. But the show's based on the movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But
it's like a vampire thing.
yeah,
right?
but he directed Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, okay. So we're all thinking the same.
Yeah, but he did Jojo Rabbit, and he played Hitler in Jojo Rabbit.
Yes.
And he said nobody famous would take the role because they were like, I'm not going to. He goes, I think their agents didn't even show it to them. They were like, I'm not going to ruin my client's career by having them play Hitler. And I was like, that's weird to me. Why would you ever ruin your career by acting a part? You're playing a part.
I agree with that, but I watched the morning show, and Steve Carell is a Matt Lauer creep type guy.
Right.
And, he prior to that was, you putting water in your coffee?
It's too hot, and I got to cool it off because I'm a pussy with heat.
Well, that's fair, but we could have got you like an ice cube or something. That's wacky to water down your... Now it's just a
Would have been nice if anybody offered.
Well, I didn't know. Like you said, you didn't tell me you were a pussy. But I do look at Steve Carell. Not like I look at him differently, but I don't know. I just have this... I used to just have these goofy images of him in my head.
Sure.
And now I have this picture of him raping a girl.
Well,
Would you play Hitler?
I'd play anything.
Yeah.
I would play anything. I would play a pedophile. So I don't
Would
care.
you?
Yeah.
You would D'Elia that shit?
Remember D'Elia played a pedophile on
Remember when he did it like 4 times? He did it on You. That show You.
Well, what's funny
for
was
real.
when I first met him, I said to him,
You're a pedophile.
"You're amazing on Workaholics. It's so nice to meet you." I go, "That was one of my favorite roles I've seen all year." And he goes, "Yeah, that really did well for me. It got me a lot of notice." He goes, people didn't want to do it. And I go, and I said, I had this conversation. I go, I don't understand why. You're playing a part.
Right.
Like, who cares?
Well, some people aren't playing parts.
We did like
Wouldn't that be funny if you went back through in history and anybody who played any of those roles was like, it's because I was secretly.
Well, I think maybe that's kind of what Taiki. I can't believe I can't remember.
I think it's Taika Waititi.
Taika. Yeah, Taika. That's it. Yeah. I think maybe that's what he was referring to is or maybe he was saying sometimes you find out that people that play these parts are a little too close to the part, and that's why people are afraid to do them. Yeah. But anyway, all this terrible shit happened career-wise in LA in the second half. And it just all hit at once. I remember the one season I wasn't on Better Call Saul was in that 3-year period. It was just everything that was going to be not great was going to happen right fucking then. And then also Me Too hit and all the BLM stuff was starting to happen. Well, it wasn't quite happening just yet, but
bubbling.
But the point I'm getting at is straight white male became a pariah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a lot of different factors. And I didn't fucking work for 3 years. I was out of money. My podcast at the time, I still have it, We'll See You in Hell, which now does really well. But at the time, we almost stopped it because we were like, we've been doing this for almost 5 years. It's not making a fucking dime. Everything was just coming to a head in the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I got to move to New York. I have to move back to New York. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't be proactive in this city. I can't. I had 2 pilots sell, go to fall apart in negotiations. We lost the pilots. I sold 2 movies that never came to fruition.
Meaning you wrote them? Is that what
wrote them, sold the idea for sorry, I shouldn't say sold. Had the idea sort of commissioned into development for a few grand. Mm-hmm. And then the idea was, we'll make this and then we'll give you a lot of money. And it never fucking happened.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that happens.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, it's for me, the moment I would think of, hey, I made it is 10 steps early. It's hey, we're we're shooting your pilot. I'd be like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're not even close.
Dude,
Crazy.
it was a brutal run, and I was like, I have to move home, and I remember trying to move. I moved back to New York almost entirely on credit cards. I was in so much fucking debt when I got back here, and I started doing comedy all the time again. And I was like, this is why I came back. I can be proactive. I can start rebuilding
so you weren't really
myself.
doing comedy in LA?
There was nowhere to do it. Like the venues, one of the main venues to do it in was the Meltdown Comics room, Nerd Melt. That closed.
Like the spots
I
that are
couldn't
here
get
now?
past at the store.
Okay, yeah.
The Improv used me sporadic. There just isn't stage time. There's just not a lot of stage time. Anyway, I moved back to New York, and I started doing a lot of comedy. I was doing all the big clubs in New York. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this is why I moved back, and I started making some money just doing sets again. And I was like, I'm going to rebuild myself as a comedian.
Fuck yeah.
And then pandemic.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that was the darkest I ever.
Was it? 'Cause
it's as close as I've ever shaved to suicide. Was in the early.
Have some serious
we getting
thoughts?
ideation level?
I was the first. I don't know that I had any thoughts of actually doing it, but that was the first time in my life, the only time in my life, where I had people calling me and saying, "We want to come get you. We're worried.
Are you okay?" Sort of thing.
It was bad. It was dark.
Yeah.
And then it all turned around amidst all of that.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say that's
Weirdly.
funny because a lot of comics thrived and like exploded during the pandemic, and I feel like that's when I really started to pay attention to you and your work is like through that. Maybe I'm just not remembering it like the timeline, but I feel like that's
I
when
met
you
you
started to
during
pick
that.
up.
Yeah, that's when I met you.
Yeah.
It was definitely after Saul, because I remember watching I didn't watch Better Call Saul until later. And I remember like the first season or two where I was like, wait, is that Joe? That's fucking Joe right there.
How did that come about, by the way? Just auditioned?
Just auditioned,
That's so
and they were really nurturing and really good to me.
Awesome.
They still stay in touch with everybody, and not everybody, but a lot of the guys. Jonathan, I still talk to, and
The best.
he's awesome. So yeah, and so anyway, Bourdain was the whole point. Sorry.
The best. No, I love these podcasts that.
Yeah, it was Bourdain. I saw a thing where he was like, I couldn't pay my rent, and I just was like, and he goes, and he's describing this whole thing, and I'm like, almost getting like teary eyed, like Jesus Christ, like I get this, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God, this must have been when he was in like his 30s or 20s or something. And then he goes, I was 44, and I was like, holy
I know.
shit.
Yeah, you don't realize that.
Yeah, and he said, but this is the part that really stuck with me. Because I'm 45 now. I feel like the pieces started for me to come together when I was around 43. I by no means feel like, oh, I've made it, or I can coast, or I don't feel anything like that. I feel certain things, which is I have 2 podcasts that are doing well, and I'm very happy about that, you know. They might not be in the top 10 of comedy podcasting, but they do well,
Sure.
and they're
Matters.
out there, and people are listening, and fans are out there, and I feel so grateful for that. I feel so grateful that I get to go on the road now and do the types of venues I want to do, the types of shows I want to do, the type of material I want to do, without any question, without any pushback, any problems. And then I have Joey Rose's in New York, the bar and sandwich shop.
Dream setup, you know.
These things, I'm so lucky to be doing this stuff at my age at 45, and he says in this thing, and I had thought this weirdly almost around the same age. He talks about he sold this art, or his article got sold to the New Yorker, I think it was, or it got published in something. And then he got his book deal, and that was like what started the dominoes.
Mm-hmm.
That book becoming
falling.
such a I don't want to call it. We actually kind of talked about it with The Sopranos recently, where it became like aspirational, and like I remember like hearing about Kitchen Confidential so much, and I read that later in life too, and I was like, how the fuck did people read this and be like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like, it is like, the whole book is like, we're doing black tar heroin in the back room. I was like, I don't find a different field.
Well, he says in that interview, and this is the line that stuck in my head. He was like, I was very cognizant to not fuck this up. Because he realized after all this shit, it was finally coming together.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit, man. That's how I feel. Like, don't fuck it up, dude. Like,
It really is wild, though. People don't realize how long it can take, how old people are, how even like comparing, you're like, I don't, maybe my show's not like top 5, but it's like, there can only be 1 or 2 of the best shows out there. The rest are, it's like on TV. It's like every different night of the week you watched your favorite show of that. There's plenty of space. There's plenty of time. There's plenty of, fans. There's plenty of everything where it's like the idea that you have to make every dollar, be the absolute most liked, favorite, top, whatever, or do the most. It's like we are calling our tour the one show only tour. We're not adding shows. If we sell out the Wilbur and we're happy with that, we're done. Because I don't want to add the second one, and then you struggle, and then you get upset, and now what should have been like amazing achievement, we're now looking at it as negative, and
that's smart.
And it's just like you could do that forever. You could just keep adding and adding and adding. And I mean, we've actually done a great deal of that in our careers. But I think it's time. I think in the internet world, there are a zillion failures. Let's say like 99% of people who set out fail. Then there's in that 1%, there's a small sliver that just skyrockets because they had the right show or the right TikTok or whatever. And then the rest of us are kind of chasing that. And you got to keep up with the Joneses. You got to download the new app, and you got to try the new formats and all that shit. I think if you jump on a rocket ship right away and you're at the top, God bless you. And if it's something you can keep riding till you're dead, then you've made it. But there's a lot of people, like you said, those first 3 years, you were like, I'm good. But then, you might right now you might be thriving on TikTok, and then the government shuts it down, and you're like, I don't have any other skills because I got lucky doing this,
I feel really lucky that my eggs were never in one basket, and it's been stressful, and keeping those balls in the air is stressful.
Juggling, right.
But I feel very lucky. I look back on things now that didn't work out, that at times I was ready to hang it all up over. And I go, thank God that didn't happen.
Right.
I was so misfocused. Like, I thought that that's what I wanted, but I didn't. And now, because that didn't happen, it made me do all this other stuff. And now I get to do it like this, and this is way better. I will not function well. I would not have functioned well as an all eyes on me guy. Like, I just wouldn't have.
Do you know why that? You think mentally, or you think you just like?
I worry.
Oh, you're a pig. Is that
I'm a pig.
You're a pig. Wait a minute. This guy's a fucking pig.
No, I worry about everything. I have anxiety. It's a constant struggle. And look, man, I've been attacked a lot online. A lot. I've been trolled hard. It's not pleasant.
What's your worst? Did you have like one joke or moment or something that was like?
I talk about it in my new hour, this one-man show I've been doing, because it's about the culture, and I talk about how the bullying that you receive or can receive, and I don't do it in a pity me way. I just talk about, but one of the things I touch on is alt-right, Hollywood left, bicyclists. Pissed off bicyclists.
Bro,
nurses. They all act the fucking same. Yeah. Not one of them acted any better than anybody else.
Bicyclists are funny though. I mean,
they're brutal.
Everybody to a man who has ever dipped their toe in that world with a joke or an accusation or whatever. I mean, they actually got him good. Bro, they suspended him. They got him suspended from Twitter for like 12 hours. Yeah. And then as soon as it was expire, they would get him suspended again, and they just kept on fucking nailing it.
They blamed
call our radio shows.
They blamed me for I want to say it was in France. There was a terrorist attack where someone drove a U-Haul.
Yeah.
No. That was different. It was someone like just like some psychopath on the West Side Highway. Just like veered off and hit a bunch of cyclists. Yeah. And he's like, the cyclist community was like, see what you do?
Yeah.
And I was like, you think because I said cyclists suck that someone
I do
heard
think you said
that.
you would run them down with your car.
I said
but
I
you
would.
didn't do it, and that's the important part. That
You
guy
think-
did.
I appreciate you think I have that level of like. Don't get me wrong. He was not wearing a Barstool sweatshirt. He didn't
Right.
have a note
He
that
just-
said "Fight told me to do
crazy.
this."
No, I got
It
you.
was just a guy who hit people.
Yeah.
and they're like, "This is what the rhetoric you're putting out there does."
It's I mean, people. I get it. I understand that words can hurt, and I understand that I don't know. Look, I've always been of the mindset, and I don't think I ever won't be, but who knows? But I've always been of the mindset of if neo-Nazis open a bakery in my neighborhood, and some guy goes, I discovered the neo-Nazi bakery and I love it. That fucking guy was going neo-Nazi regardless. He was going to end up there. Like, it doesn't take a bakery or a tweet or whatever to push somebody over the edge. If you're going to move in a certain terrible direction, you're going to move in that direction no matter what the fuck happens.
I don't know though. Like, what, they got like a real good banana
I was
bread.
going to say, how
again?
how
They got a
good?
real good banana bread. They got I love banana bread. Banana bread,
Okay,
little chocolate chip.
how good would banana bread need to be that you would go to the neo-Nazi bakery?
regular? Like, do I have to? Like,
Meaning, I should have qualified. If you shop in the bakery, you have to be.
I have to go. I have to get
Yeah.
tattoos.
Okay.
and-
My
and
point
haircut.
is like my point. It's a ridiculous example, obviously, but like my point is like, it's alcohol.
right.
Ooh, he's a bad drunk. He hits women when he drinks. No.
you're an
He's
asshole.
a bad guy.
Right. Yeah.
The alcohol just removes something
My
that allows
favorite-
him to be himself.
My favorite's the video games. You shoot up a school
Yeah.
and play video games. No, man. That's a fucking
Yeah.
psychotic
That was
kid.
the Riley Cooper. When Riley Cooper was on the Eagles, and he was at a Kenny Chesney concert, I believe, and he said the N word, and he called everyone there the N word, I think, which is wild at a Kenny Chesney concert. He was like, his apologies, like, my bad, I was drunk, and I was like, I don't think so, man. Sure, Roseanne was. I was on not Anavar. Anavar's a steroid.
Ambien.
Ambien.
Yep,
Yeah.
You say you do get loose on Ambien, but whatever's
actually
in your
think-
heart comes out.
Tiger was like, I piss on girls. Like, I was on Ambien. What are you fucking talking about?
The like what's it called? I actually think Roseanne deserves a second chance, but
I don't really know anything about
But
her other than
she-
she said she was on Ambien.
but then that
I don't even know what she said. I just said no,
I
was
wish
on
she
Ambien.
I
I don't
just
think it was anything
wish
too bad, right? Was it like a hardcore N bomb or anything? I think it was
no,
just
she said
some-
she said Valerie Jarrett looked like Planet of the Apes, but then she also said I thought she was white, which Valerie Jarrett, it's believable enough that I'm willing to give Roseanne the benefit of the doubt.
What is she from? Hang on, let me look this up. 'cause
I just wish Roseanne would be funny again.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
Well,
like,
dude, so many
I'm such an
people-
admirer of. I grew up on Roseanne. I hate that new special is just her being like, I can't let the assholes win. It's like,
Dude,
okay,
who
but
cares?
But like, do jokes now.
That's what
like, like
so many really fucking talented and funny people. Or not even maybe necessarily funny, but just like entertainers who now become political pundits and stuff. It's like, what are you doing? Wasting your time doing this?
I almost think of it
Like-
as like the Al Davis, like the Just Win baby. Like complaining about them.
Yeah, brother.
isn't-
I mean, that's a tough one. You tell me that's not a white woman?
Yeah,
That's tough.
The
she does look kind of white.
She
right?
looks a lot of white.
She looks
Yeah.
a lot of white.
You showed me just that picture.
Yeah.
Now there was some other ones where it's like, okay, there's,
But the what was I gonna say?
I thought she's just an ugly white woman. She's not an ugly black woman. Sorry.
I forget what I was gonna say.
Yeah, no. It's just,
I don't think
why
like
do you-
everybody
how can
that
a comedian
defended
think
Roseanne
this is
said too. Like Roseanne's crazy. She's not racist. Monique defended her and said Roseanne like stood up for me as a black woman. Like Roseanne, I just don't think Roseanne Barr is racist.
No, we get that a lot here too. Like
Yeah.
Portnoy's been involved in it a lot. I've got it a couple times. I mean, I've bluntly done like stereotypical racial jokes back in like 2010, where I was like, I'm joking, but I did say like something fucked up, you know?
Right.
Dave was involved in this. I don't know if you followed the women's basketball. No. It was a black girl and a white girl. They both were acting cocky on the court. One girl was like, "Oh, that's so cool." The black girl was like, "You're classless," and he was calling her classless, but that's because he lost $250,000 on a bet because the other team won, and he's like, but everybody thinks he's racist, and he's like, I'm not racist. Like I do think that term got like spiraled out of control. Maybe I'm insensitive.
It all
maybe I've
did.
said some dumb racial shit. Maybe I don't think when I talk. And I don't hate anybody because of their race.
Racism, sexist, Nazi. These terms are all. They don't. None of them almost mean anything anymore.
No words mean anything. Once they get outside the bubble that it was like created in, and it started like nothing means anything. It doesn't
means anything. And the bubble. What bubble? It used to start like in real. Let's say real journalism, it started, and then it got outside of it, and people started to use it improperly. But now there's not even a bubble of real journalists. They're fucking assholes too.
What's so weird now, or interesting, like I read an article last night about Melissa McCarthy's. She's playing Ursula in the new Little Mermaid movie. And there was backlash from the drag community because Ursula was based on a drag queen, and they said a drag queen should be playing Ursula in the movie. And that wasn't the case because the Ursula was based on Divine, apparently.
I thought Ursula was just a chick.
That's what I thought. Well, I don't know.
She's definitely overmade.
In any case, there was some heat about Now, Melissa McCarthy is saying, well, I used to do drag queen performances as a lady named, I think it was Lady Y or something like that. So I have done drag. And now people are like, well, that's cool. Disney's doing their best because she's technically, but then I'm like, wait, a drag queen has to be, I thought it had to be a man that dressed as a woman.
That just means you're a girl who dresses flashy, right?
Here's what I'm getting at. Now in a world where people can say, I identify as this, I identify as that. These are my pronouns. I'm a woman, but I'm a drag queen. Where it kind of all meant everything, now all of it kind of means anything anymore. So I'm just like, I guess that's good. Like now we can maybe not get too wrapped up in like, is the person playing that role exactly by blood and lifestyle this exact thing? Maybe. I don't know, but it's a weird time.
I was talking about, I forget what even story my dad referenced. I was with my dad yesterday, and he was talking about, I forget what it was. It was like, here's about this issue. He's like, people got hot about that, huh? And I was like, no, they didn't. Not really. People send it, but if you talk to anyone, it's like, I don't actually care. It's that so many people are bored with the internet, and they're just like, I can just send this tweet, and you remember it forever, and then the headlines start doing like the people are doing this, and it's like no one. I forget what
an issue that really hits is like if it's going on outside the internet. Tons of shit's always going to be happening on the internet. People are going to be saying, reacting, whatever.
I guess this is my point that I talked about it yesterday, and I don't remember what it was. Like it clearly wasn't a big deal.
I remember when
full conversation about it
when Occupy Wall Street happened in New York. I was like blogging about it, not posting exclusively that all day long, talking about it. But also, if I were to go meet my friends at happy hour, we'd say what's up, and then we'd be like, "Did you see this Occupy Wall Street shit? That's crazy." Like it can't, it actually reaches conversation and real life.
Sure.
So many things now don't.
It's just that there are too many things. It's almost like Trump was a microcosm where it's like he did so much stuff you forgot he did the other thing.
Yeah.
And it's like so much stuff is a big deal now.
Because everything, we're on to the next one.
Well, the corporate media, well, I should say more importantly, corporate news, is the most irresponsible, shit-slinging, pariah fucking business there is out there. It's disgraceful. The media in this country, the real media, meaning the news media, should be fucking ashamed of itself. The violence and issues and divides that they cause, it's just incredible to me that they stoke these flames. They are completely unaccountable. They are held to zero standard. They can do whatever the fuck they want. They get away with fucking murder.
They get away with
murder.
Like when the Fox News texts leak, and you see Tucker Carlson or whoever being like, these fucking people actually buy this shit. And then the next day, those fans are right back on there rooting him on. It's like they're like Trump, and where it's like, you can just keep doing this. And you can even get caught doing like the wrong thing. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
All sides of it. It's all sides of it. And you have people in middle America. I was talking about this on Pig DeStefano's podcast the other day.
Fucking oink, pig, slaughter that fat boy.
I go, if you read the news, you think New York is a fucking war zone. It's the most dangerous city on earth. I go, look at murder rate statistics in this country. Right. The highest murder rates are in cities that are in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Like New York doesn't even make the top 20 in murder rate.
Considering how many people there are and how crazy it could and should be, it's probably one of the safest.
You know how many
places
murders
out
there were last year in New York?
How many?
I think 450
out of
9 million fucking people.
Yeah.
So when you go just on numbers, New York is number 3. There are 9 million people
Right.
here.
That's a very big
So
difference.
my point is like, I go on Gutfeld on Fox, and I like Greg's an old friend of mine, and I don't agree with some of the takes he has. I agree with some of the takes he has. I get called a libtard every time I go on. People say I'm shutting this off. I hate this guy,
Libtard,
which is
cock,
weirdly
soy boy,
flattering.
beta
But
male. Yeah.
do I think Fox News does great work? No. I go on there because I'm like, I feel like I can talk about something
I'll tell you why you
and,
go on there
and
too.
give an
It's
opinion.
Fucking shit ton of people watching.
Well,
that
yeah.
guy does great.
And the people that are cool that watch it are great.
yeah,
They're great
the
fans.
people can just kind of like rationally watch it.
But it's like I'll go on a show. I would go on a show like that on CNN and say my opinions. And
Well, that is the
whatever.
difference
But, like,
too. That's another
you know,
Barstool thing. We get a lot of us have been invited to go on Fox News, Tucker Carlson, whoever, to do these like quick hits on things that are funny but slightly political, whatever.
Right.
And so Dave will go on and do it, get a lot of exposure, and then people are like, "You're a Fox News fucking all the right racist," and he's like, "I'll go on CNN tomorrow. They just don't invite me." I do think those. I think the right side will tend to get down with comedians and more entertainment.
Tucker, I
than
don't
some
know
of the-
if I got invited. I don't know if I would do Tucker.
I turned down Tucker. That to me was too.
It's too.
much.
He's a little too like I've got something to prove here.
Yeah.
Like there. Whereas Greg, I feel like will say what he
What he
his
believes.
take.
Yeah.
And also too, if you could say to Greg, "What are you, an idiot?" and he'll laugh.
Yeah, right,
Like
right.
and you go back and forth. Greg has said to me off camera, like, I like when you come on because you make it like a conversation and we go back and forth. And
It's
like,
not just like a yes, I agree with you. And
whereas Tucker, I feel like would be like, but don't you think that,
yeah.
whatever. And I'd be like,
Well, this is all to tie it into your appearance here nicely. The brilliance of Tastebuds is
Thanks.
you can do that argument, those type of arguments about everything. And really, that's what's going on the internet. It's people
Right.
arguing about everything and anything. You guys just can take it a step further and be like, let's argue about Pop-Tarts. Let's
we
argue about
just
cookies.
talked about this on Chrissy Chaos. Chris was talking about embellishment on podcasts for comedy's sake.
Mm-hmm.
And we were kind of debating whether, and he said, are you going to sit here and tell me you don't ever embellish on Tastebuds? And I go, I swear to God, Chris, no, because that was like a hard rule we made for ourselves. We were like, it can never be a fake argument. It can never be fake anger. It can never be fake passion. When we get to that point, it's real.
Yeah.
Like, and that's,
No,
and if you
like
fake it, it sucks.
Yes.
Like, and that's why we don't fake it.
Right. But
Like,
I can see what he means. Like, you're not going to ever you're not going to lose a friendship over cinnamon brown sugar versus strawberry.
but we would never say we would.
never done. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, when we start arguing about shit, I'll find myself like dying on the hill of a flavor or a song or something
Right.
that is completely objective. You
Right,
know?
right.
Here's one Kevin died on the hill of recently. I'd like to hear your take. Do pigeons exist outside of cities?
Are pigeons in the suburbs?
It's a great question. I've never seen it.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, they must somewhere, right?
That was the argument.
They're
Was
dirty rats who fucking flock to the urban spots to get the dumpster
Well, I guess
food.
it's like there are suburbs where there are rats, but you're less likely to see them.
Right.
So there's
Yeah, I'm
gotta
not
be,
denying that there's like not a single pigeon in
No,
the
you were
suburbs.
denying.
right.
Well, then I was embellishing.
But
Wait, I
but-
have one more stupid question.
yeah.
Sorry, before we move on
Sorry.
real quick. Timothy Palace, one of our guys who made some posters around here, fantastic graphic design artist, DM'd me a question the other day, and it was one of my favorite questions I've ever had. Are the E's in the word P silent?
It could just be the letter P followed by silence.
I think they are.
Wait,
No.
say this again?
P,
The,
like
the letters E in the word P, like
No.
I took a P.
No,
are they
they're not.
silent?
No.
But if you drop
took
them, you're still
well,
saying P.
how would you pronounce it?
Yeah, but no.
But they're not. I agree. The A in peas, P, like eating peas, that's silent.
Yes.
But the double E.
Well,
P.
no. The EA can make it an E sound,
Right. But if
depending on like B.
I guess if you were to take away the A in PEA, it would be like a pay, not a P.
Yeah, I don't know if that still counts as silent A or not.
Because it's more of a combining to make it different.
But anyway.
Yeah, I could find myself 25 minutes later being like, "Are you?" Obviously, they're not silent. You know, but that's not faking it. It's like I do. You know what it is? It's not the topic. It's competitiveness, the desire to win the argument. I fucking hate his stupid face, so I want to be right and you want to be wrong.
Yeah,
that, I think
my
also
point
overtakes
is always and by the way, Chris wasn't saying like you guys are faking it. He was just saying like, are you telling me there's never a time? And I'm like, no. It's such a fucking hard rule that we have episodes where afterwards we're like, was that a dud? Because we don't
go hard enough.
Yeah.
Well,
because like you can't. I mean, that's it. That like if you're gonna have a debate show, you got to go. It's got to be a real debate. Once you start pretending, then it's a problem.
Tastebuds is inherently let's be ultra serious about something that's not that serious. In that regard, that's not embellishment, but that's just like let's.
But the ultra serious. I hate that it sounds like I'm putting such a fine point on this dumb podcast. It's a fucking food argument. But who gives a shit?
But that's why it works because you do take it seriously.
But that's the thing. Sal and I started doing it because we got into those arguments so much in real life, and we were like, dude, we're fucking crazy. This is a podcast.
What was the original? Chips Ahoy and Oreos? Is that right?
That was the first one, and then the second argument we had when Sal said, "I think this is a podcast," was the bagel, which was our second episode. Cinnamon raisin versus everything bagels. But we were like, people around us were like, Jesus Christ, guys. And they were like getting into my point is if he and I weren't weirdly wired like that, we never would have. It wasn't like, what if we did hard debates about this benign shit?
It's natural.
It was like, no, dude, I care this much.
I'm with you on that. And I'll get going about crazy shit too. And if you're not like that, people look at you like you're fucking crazy. But it's like, I don't know what to tell you, man. I get passionate about my donuts. I get passionate about my sport. I get passionate about whatever. And sorry you can't relate, but like I'll fucking scream and yell for however long you want to go. I'll do it, you know?
Yeah. No, my movie podcast, me and Pat Walsh do a show called We'll See You in Hell. And it's like, it's the same thing. Like in the beginning, Pat and I argued a lot. Like it would get... There were some episodes we didn't release because we're like, this is too much. Mm-hmm. But,
what were those about?
We had to re-record our review of Logan because we got into it got like personal.
What was like? What did you say? What was like the worst thing you said in that? or what?
He said.
Who said the worst thing?
I don't even remember because we deleted it. But he. I remember I called him disgusting and he took it really personally. And he was like, you referred to me as disgusting. And I was like, because he thought I meant physically, like I was saying he was repulsive and I wasn't. But he was really like, you
should fucking release that.
I deleted it. Dude, it got ugly. It got to a point where it ended, he was like, I'm leaving. Him. And he was walking out of my apartment in LA and I go, if you walk out that door, don't come back.
No way.
Yeah.
We are done. You and I are done professionally.
Yeah, it sounded like again, the podcast was making zero money. I don't even know why we were doing it.
That's why Tastebuds works though.
So
because you were willing to do arguments like that for $0 at one point because you really mean it.
Right. And so, but here's my point too with We'll See You in Hell. Pat and I got to a point where we stopped arguing like that. Mm-hmm. And the podcast now does even better than it ever did then. Huh. We thought the whole thing was, and we said the same thing, we can't ever fake it, whatever. But we really thought that the crux of this podcast was, like the Siskel and Ebert-y debate about movies. And we found out later it really wasn't. People just liked us talking about movies together. Now, like, even when we disagree, it doesn't get heated anymore. It's just very much like, I don't know, man.
What if, do you think Tastebuds could work that way?
I do.
I think Tastebuds, if you were like, I agree, sir. Brown sugar cinnamon is the best.
I do because I noticed something.
Everything won that debate, right?
I noticed with Tastebuds.
Everything bagel.
What's that?
Everything
won.
Yeah.
I still don't understand.
I'm with you on that, but I would I know that's a losing battle. I think they're disgusting.
I know. They're not disgusting. They're just like
and garlic and shit all in your mouth.
First
right
thing
away.
in the morning is weird.
Totally.
To me. Yeah.
I've gotten pretzel chips, that have onion, everything flavoring on it, and I will dip that in cream cheese, and I'll have it with a soda or a beer at like night
you're an animal.
I'm an animal. But as a bagel in the morning,
dude, dipping something into cream cheese is like that is like
disgusting.
Animal
I get
shit.
the whipped one where you can do it easily.
I remember actually, speaking of Gutfeld, he was on a diet once. He was like the first guy I ever knew that did keto, like before anybody talked about keto. And he lost all this weight, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "It's the easiest diet ever." And we would go out drinking, and then he'd be like, "I'm going to the deli. I'm going to get bacon and cream cheese." And he would dip the bacon and cream cheese, and he was losing weight. And I was like, "What the fuck is this diet, dude?"
Cut out those carbs, and you're good to go.
Want to know something repulsive I do? I've done lately, and when it's not, and it's genuinely not repulsive, but it is out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I forget the brand name, but at the market by my apartment, they sell these big pepperonis.
Yeah.
They're like in a package, so they're all like kind of lined, like almost like shingles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Rather than the little ones, they're like the big round.
Yeah, big round ones, and they're like all lined up.
I know what you're talking about. The pre-sliced.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I just rip that package open, full thing.
Mm-hmm.
I get some Dijon mustard, squirt it down the middle, fold it up like a big taco.
Oh, you fucking pig! You eat the whole package at once,
dude. Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
I do. I've been doing a ton of prosciutto recently. I do goat cheese and prosciutto on a Ritz cracker.
I hate goat cheese, but I love prosciutto.
I'll take down a whole, one of those prepackaged.
Yeah. Prosciutto actually is very low in calories, all things considered. It's high in sodium, so I try to dodge it as much as I can these days because of the sodium intake. But I used to, when I was in college, I used to buy a stick of pepperoni, like the Hormel stick or like the Boar's Head stick, and a stick of Cracker Barrel cheese, and I would bite each stick.
You fucking trash barrel.
Yeah.
You're a landfill. That's great.
But no, the prosciutto's great. With my favorite snack in this realm that we're talking about, I'll get Triscuit crackers.
Have you ever done Tastebuds on crackers? Have you ever done a Ritz cracker debate with something?
I don't think we've ever done crackers.
Do like Ritz versus Triscuit.
I would love to do that.
I think the Ritz cracker is the most underrated thing in the world.
A Ritz cracker,
buttery, salty goodness,
phenomenal,
so good.
But Triscuits are my go-to when there's accoutrement.
Mm-hmm.
Like if plain Triscuit, I would never eat. I mean, I would, but like,
oh yeah, that's.
But if you're dressing it up, Triscuit to me can't be beat. But anyway, Triscuit, Cracker Barrel, white Vermont cheddar sharp, pepperoni, and then I'll also get Supersat and like Asiago or sharp provolone, and I'll do both. And then on the salami and on the Supersat and provolone one, I'll sometimes put a little fig jam. You get some fig spread, dude. Forget it, dude. Forget it. I'll make whole charcuteries.
Oh yeah, a good meat and cheese board.
Do you have a PS2 in here?
PS5
well, I was just about to ask.
and 2.
You are a gamer. I didn't know. I don't think I knew how much of a gamer you are.
Yeah.
We just got the PS5. We just got the PS5. We got the Nintendo 64. I think we got an Xbox of some sort, and then the PS2. Yeah.
I have a PS5 and an Xbox. I mean, I have like 40 some systems at this point, but
40?
Yeah, because I collect through the ages. So I started,
There's different ones, or like, because there's not 40, right?
Well, you're counting like Atari.
Oh, I'm saying from Atari.
But even still, there's 40.
Oh yeah, dude. There's tons.
I'm thinking like if I were to list them, I got okay. I mean, I'm thinking Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Dreamcast, GameCube.
So we can walk through
1, 2, 3. But okay, we can. But I'm just saying, like, even if I started to go through it, I would get to like 10 or 15. I didn't think it was 40.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Atari 20. I'll try to do them like categorically. Atari 2600, Atari 5200, Atari 7800, Atari VCS. That's 4. So can somebody keep count?
More to
I
go.
got you.
Okay. Intellivision 1, In television, 2. That's 6. Right?
Yep.
ColecoVision. And then I have a Coleco alternate called the Gemini.
8. 32 left.
Okay. Nintendo. Super Nintendo. Nintendo 64. GameCube. Wii U. Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Switch Mini.
Game Boy. Would you count
7. Hold on. That's 7 right there, right? Was that 7?
I'm keeping total. We're at 15 total.
Okay. Game Boy. Game Boy Advance. Nintendo 3DS. Okay. Super Famicom.
Okay, that's where I'm like, I knew all those ones.
Famicom.
Super Famicom?
They're the Japanese versions.
Okay.
Okay. Keep going.
Sure.
Ready? Sega Master System.
Oh, boy.
Sega Genesis. Sega Genesis 2. Sega CDX. Sega Saturn. Sega Dreamcast. All right.
What was the
Ready?
handheld for that? Sega Gear?
Sega Game Gear.
Game Gear, yeah.
I have. Atari Lynx. I forgot about. All right. PlayStation 1. PlayStation 2. PlayStation 3. PlayStation 4. PlayStation 5. Xbox. Xbox 360. Xbox Series X.
Motherfucker's gonna get to 40 like on the nose. Are we running out of gas though?
I've got other handhelds I'm not remembering at the moment.
What about there was an Tekken was a game, right? Wasn't there like a red I want to say there was something that was like 128 bits when 64 was the rage. I think there was another.
I don't think so. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
How many are we at, by the way?
We're at 37.
37.
I think you haven't hit the Xboxes like 360.
No, I said those.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
he did.
Oh, you did?
He got
Okay.
those.
Yeah, but I'm also not counting like Game Boy Advance SP. That's 38. That's a variation. I've got a Game Boy Color. That's
Yeah.
I've got like the new thing that just came out that plays the cartridge collections. I'll have to look it up, but just trust me. There's another one.
The fact. Okay,
You listed 30. That's 40 on the nose.
The fact
That's for I have more stuff. Like I have a ton of plug and plays.
Right.
Like I have an old Pong system, so that's one.
Crazy.
I would
never have guessed it. I would have said there's like, but I also I would say Xbox is one, like, but they're not because obviously like 1, 2, and 3 PlayStation like that obviously changed.
So anyway,
yeah.
But you have PlayStation 2 games here.
Yeah, we got that too. We got PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 5.
But you do have a 2 because the 2 games won't play on the 5, right?
No. But we do this is 2.
Well, you know what I just learned? I didn't know this. The 2 will play all the 1 games. I didn't know that. I've been plugging my fucking PlayStation 1 in and then plugging my PlayStation 2 in. I could just play plug the 2 in.
Those they let it go, and then as they now they want to make all their money. So
5 will play all the 4s though.
Yeah. I think the newer one, well, as long as it's the same.
4 wouldn't play anything. 4 was just 4.
Oh,
3 would play a lot of the 1s, but not any of the 2s.
Because they want you to fucking buy.
Yeah. Xbox is pretty good though. The Series X I think is almost fully backwards.
That you were like a video game nerd.
I like gaming, man.
What do you think is the greatest console of all time?
Well, that's tough. That's tough. I would have
answered DeRosa.
I would have.
What if I was on Tastebuds and you're like, well, I don't know. I like them all. Shut the fuck up. Give me a goddamn answer. Be a man.
There was Steam Deck. I have. That's another
is that
one.
What you're talking about with the
no. There's another console
that you can play like everything in the world if you like jail.
Steam.
I'm keeping this like I'm a court stenographer. Like every time, like I'm actually going, okay, 42. All right.
I can't believe it got that high.
Well, I have. Greatest console is a tough one. My favorite console to collect for, my favorite two consoles to collect for are Atari 2600 and Intellivision.
Those are like old school.
The most nostalgic. I really do enjoy the simplicity of the games. I like that
you can sit down and like play Pong right now.
Well, Pong
that's crazy.
Isn't really Atari or that's a little pre. I mean, it's.
But I'm saying a game of that level. You play like Intergalactic.
Pong's a little too whatever, but no, I wouldn't enjoy Pong. But like Atari, like Spider Fighter and Pitfall, and I like that stuff. And television is better graphics.
If you had to pick a.
But I'm not saying those are the greatest of all time. Here's what I'm saying. Favorite versus greatest of all time is two different things. If most played unit right now, I would say my PS5, my Switch Mini, or whatever the new Switch is, whatever the fuck it's called, and then my Steam Deck get the most traction out of me right now. But greatest system, I would hand it to, you got the NES, Atari, Sega Genesis. I mean, PlayStation 1. I'm going to give it to one of the things that like dethroned everybody else.
Well, you're giving it to like the Johnny Unitas. Like you changed the game, the Bobby Orr. Like,
nobody.
Big David's better.
Look, I can think of like
PlayStation 5 is going to be the greatest machine you've ever played.
I can think of 4 systems that I can remember that changed the fucking game where I was like, holy shit.
Okay, let's do that.
It was Atari 2600, Nintendo Entertainment System, which is probably the biggest of all of the ones I'm going to name.
That set the world like in motion.
Sega Genesis, because Sega Genesis managed to temporarily dethrone Nintendo.
Yeah.
And then PlayStation fucking dethroned Nintendo.
See,
there was no other. The PlayStation was supposed to be a Nintendo system, and Nintendo fucked up the deal with Sony.
Wow.
Really? Yeah,
because they got their dicks kicked in during the GameCube and Wii era. Like they were doing it a little.
I had the 64 as a loyalist because it had Star Wars games on it when it launched.
I think 64, and maybe this is just your age and how it all happened, though. I mean, I think I would give it to Nintendo just because it made the world of video gaming in my mind. Atari and all that, I understand, but Nintendo. But I think Nintendo 64 was what like felt like we hit warp drive into the future.
I think it's one of the worst systems ever.
Really?
Created. Yes.
That's crazy to me.
In hindsight, when I first got it, I liked it because it was. Let me tell you what I hate about
GoldenEye,
64.
Mario 64,
GoldenEye was
Mario Kart, like those classics.
GoldenEye was amazing. Star Wars Rogue Squadron was amazing. I remember playing Shadows of the Empire and running around in a first-person shooter, shooting stormtroopers. I was like, holy shit.
Mario 64 is incredible.
Mario 64 is
Mario
great.
Kart 64 is what, like, the Super Nintendo set it in motion, but Mario Kart took it, like...
I didn't like Mario 64. I recognize that it's a great game. I'm not taking anything away from it, but I didn't like the game. I didn't like... That is why... That was my biggest gripe with the Nintendo 60 in hindsight, and I didn't realize it at the time when I was experiencing it. What I did, I got Ocarina of Time as
I was just about to say. I mean, I'm going to take this TV and smash you in the head with it. Saying it's one of the worst of all time is insanity.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Because there's so many other shitty ones.
One of the worst. Let me reframe.
Dreamcast, like suck my dick.
Dreamcast
sucked.
Dreamcast is renowned as one of the greatest systems ever made.
But you fucking losers.
just didn't do as well as it should have.
That's probably true. Like it had the technology, on that. But yeah, so it didn't do well.
But I'll say this about N64. I didn't realize it at the time. N64,
Donkey Kong 64. You're so dumb. That's one of the worst opinions I've ever heard.
No. Donkey Kong 64 is. It's okay, but like wait, I'm going to give you an analogy. Just if you'd shut your fucking mouth for a second.
Star Fox, like suck my dick.
Star Fox was way cooler on SNES. It was way more impressive.
But it had the 3D polygon thing going.
Yeah, on SNES it was like what the fuck. On 64 it was like yeah, okay. Like let me tell you what N64 is. N64 is the band doing the fifth album where you're like, hey guys,
No.
some of their best songs on this,
No.
but overall this does not hit as a whole the way the first few albums do.
I get
That's
that.
what N64 is. Dude,
I don't know.
N64's library was can somebody look this up? I think it was a total of it's in the hundreds of games. In the hundreds. PlayStation 1, I believe, hit somewhere in the ballpark of 4,000 titles released for it.
Okay, I mean,
now
if you're making an argument that quantity is what
N60. Well, here's the other thing.
Okay.
N64 focused entirely on 3D polygon games. They abandoned almost entirely anything side-scrolling, anything two-dimensional, which that system would have shined at doing. Instead, they made lesser than versions of 3D polygon games. That system is nowhere near as powerful as a PlayStation. The cartridge is its Achilles heel because Nintendo was so fucking snotty that they will be different or whatever. They fucked it up for the developers. And I didn't like the shift when all of a sudden all of my favorite characters like Mario, Earthworm Jim, Donkey Kong, whoever, were suddenly in these 3D worlds. I didn't care for that. And the fact that they did that and completely abandoned the other stuff, I was like, this is...
that I can understand.
And it doesn't age
Being
well.
like, I
Those
don't
games
like
are
them
not fun
be
to play
3D.
anymore.
Oh, suck my dick. We could play fucking GoldenEye right now. It'd be awesome.
Oh, disagree.
GoldenEye.
I literally played it last week. It's terrible.
No, I mean, I played it last week too.
GoldenEye's still kind of fun if you're like drunk with some buddies.
Bro,
but I
it
mean, you could...
always hits.
How
Mario
many
Kart
titles
in
for the
any form.
64?
It says that there's 388 licensed releases.
388 licensed releases. How many releases for the original PlayStation?
How many of those games are good?
Oh, dude, so many. So many, dude. Shmups alone on the PS1 blow anything on the...
I feel like PS1...
Dude, here's what PlayStation did. PlayStation was like, we're going to do some perfect arcade ports, guys. We've got the ability to do it now. Let's take some of your favorite games from the arcade, like Raiden or whatever, and we're going to port them right over and give you the arcade experience. Nintendo did none of that with the 64. Their hubris was so fucking out of control. They fucked Sony over. They fucked Sony over.
Don't embellish, DeRosa!
They fucked Sony over. And Sony was like, well, then go fuck yourselves. We'll do it on our own.
I don't think I realized that. That's a...
They're idiots.
I feel like the Switch has really caught them back up in a way, like they're back in the conversation. But I feel like from GameCube, even through Wii, because Wii was one where they were like, look, you can wave the wand. And I was like, I don't fucking want to bowl. I don't want to do Wii Olympics. I want to play real... When you had to play a real video game and you had the weird remote...
Wii was a temporary phenomenon.
Yeah.
It was a game changer. It was the first time I had ever seen... Do we got a number?
It says 4K across.
I
You're
got
pretty spot on.
3,289.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, the guy knows his
So-
numbers,
I was gonna
right?
say, I think we should stop questioning Joe when it comes to video game numbers.
But the Wii, I'd never that I could remember. I had never seen people line up for a game console
was
in
wild,
my life.
yeah.
I'd never seen that.
That was like the virality, like that Oculus is kind of grabbing now, where like they would be viral clips of someone like throwing their remote and hitting the TV.
Yeah, 'cause
it's
it was
almost
like-
like advertising
it
for it. Like, you can
changed-
destroy your TV.
Yeah,
That's how real
it
this
changed
is.
the way you... But I'm like, I want to fucking sit on the
then it
couch
went away.
and be a fat piece of shit
Yeah.
and play a game.
And it went, and then
then
it
it
immediately
disappeared.
went away. It was
That-
like
that was-
PlayStation, and I think PlayStation Move, and then Xbox did the Kinect, and nobody gave a fuck
Yeah.
about motion controls.
PlayStation
It all went
5
away.
is really that impressive?
Have you played it yet?
No.
Look, they're both. The Xbox is more, as far as I understand, is the Xbox is the closest to PC gaming you can get with a console. So I'm playing Resident Evil 4 Remake on Xbox right now, and I looked it up online and side by side videos and everything. The Xbox experience for that game is as good as graphically as you can get, which I'm excited about because Resident Evil 4 is one of my favorite video games of all time.
Yeah.
So I wanted the best experience. PS5, I find, is a little more exciting because the controller, there's like 1,000 or 10,000 or some stupid amount of vibration variations in
Patterns,
it.
yeah.
So like, and then the audio aspect of the controller. Like when the games that are fully designed for the PS5, like they really draw you in.
I
Like,
heard that the PlayStation is with their new controls, they can do heat and cooling. Is that true?
That I don't know.
That'd
be
It's
pretty
just
cool.
going to be a full-blown vibrator at some
Well,
point.
it was like,
But
PlayStation's going to make you come.
But the Xbox is a powerhouse with Game Pass and everything. I
Yeah.
mean, it's like you can't fuck with it.
was it PS2 that started like if we're talking about how you changed the game? Was it PS2 that was the first system with like you can play with your friends in a different house? Like was that so? I remember playing like SOCOM Navy SEALs.
I don't know. I felt like I started to see that all happen with PS3.
Was it 3 maybe?
But
it
it could have been. I was pretty late to the game and all that stuff. I had the N64, like I said, because I was a Nintendo loyalist, and also they had these great Star Wars games that were exclusive. And then I still stuck with them, and I got the GameCube. The GameCube I still think is a great system.
That shit sucked. It was it was very child heavy, right? It was like geared towards kids. And those little discs were so stupid.
Yeah, because Resident Evil 4 came out on GameCube exclusively first.
Okay.
GameCube was when they finally started to be like grown-ups.
Because I remember
I
it
felt
being very
like-
childish, and then there was GTA over on PlayStation. It was like,
Yeah,
I don't know if
they didn't have
GTA was
anything like-
kill people and fuck people and rob and
I think
steal.
GTA eventually went to game. Eventually,
Yeah,
I might
but not-
be wrong.
yeah.
I don't
I don't know
know.
if it was just ours or if it was all of them, but like our GameCube was purple. Were they all purple?
Yeah, well, mine was purple.
Yeah, and no.
I don't know.
There are a lot of variations. I think the one I have now is
I mean, it did
Purple.
look cool as his cube, but I was like, I don't fucking really care. I'm playing Spider-Man on PS4 right now for the first time. I just, years later.
Yeah.
And I read that they were like, and I think that's a fucking masterpiece.
which one are you playing?
Spider-Man. I think it's just like Spider-Man.
Miles Morales on PS5 is insane.
Right. So I
amazing.
played that one and Morales on
Yeah.
PS4, and I think that the Manhattan and the swinging and the frames per second, all that shit already looks amazing. And the article I was reading was like PlayStation 5 blows that out of the water, and I'm almost like I don't even understand how you could. Like how much better can it?
No,
how much
I
better
know.
can these graphics
But
get?
that's why it's funny how easy to change, how you can't comprehend how it could be better. Like, I remember doing that with HD when HD first came out. And I would be like, people were like, no, go to 806. Like, it's way better. I'm like, it doesn't look any different.
I've seen Steel.
And then, like now you go back to Sam Jefferson.
I've seen
it's like
footage.
watching underwater if you watch it.
I've seen footage from racing games where I can't tell if it's real or not.
Right. I mean, that's
Like
fucking
wild.
crazy.
In on Xbox in Resident Evil 4, you can see the sheen on his hair. Like you can see his the shininess of his hair.
I don't know. I mean,
It's fucking
you
wild.
You ever seen the
making one
Kumail
of those?
Nanjiani joke where he's talking about Call of Duty or something
Yeah, I
like that?
remember that.
And I forget where Kumail's from, but the game takes place in his hometown. And he's like, they got every hair, individual hairs bouncing as he runs, but all the signs in the town the town don't speak the right language. He's like, that's not the language. Like, how are you this precise? And that's not the language.
they're like,
we
yeah,
speak."
we're gonna. That's funny. We're not gonna learn your culture. We're just gonna be able to know how to make
That's
your
so
hair look
funny.
good. That
That's so
shit
funny.
is. I feel like I feel myself slowly slipping back into gaming because I did it as a kid and then I kind of stopped, which I didn't because I would have just been like a Twitch streamer from the very beginning and probably been $1 billion richer.
Yeah.
But I can feel myself like I'll go home and play video games for like 6 hours and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I sometimes feel like I should be streaming, but
Why not? Yeah.
I just feel like
Especially you can do some old school shit for like the older guys who want to watch.
there's just
do retro shit.
so much of it out there already,
know,
and
but-
it's just so hard.
But if you
to,
did if you did some comedy with it at the same time, it'd be awesome.
I know. I have a video game. I have an idea that I am going to do, and it's not. It could be a streaming thing. It could also not be a streaming thing. I'll tell you about it after.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I like that.
but I do want to do something in the video game space. I just felt like being yet another guy that goes on Twitch and streams and goes ask me anything
Totally,
while
yeah,
I was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like, there's enough
Right.
of it out there. There's enough people doing
But
it.
there's
Like,
a way to differentiate that. We'll
Yeah.
talk about that. But yeah.
Yeah.
So
Would you go blank?
yeah, well, I'm just we talked about Tastebuds. We talked about in hell. I'm thinking if there's anything else that you're on the road touring, whatever.
Yeah.
And the sandwich shop.
Yeah.
Is that
don't
Thriving,
have
is
to
it
talk
good?
about it. I don't
No,
really feel
just-
like we have to.
I'm interested. Is it
I had it for the first time at the Seven Hills party.
it was good.
It
was really good.
genuinely. I'm so
Thanks.
nervous consuming someone's passion in front of them, and
that what
if that sucked
and
and
you
you're
were
just
like, I want to watch you eat it. I was like, fucking shit.
How about that asshole eating the peanut butter and jelly? Who asked you if there was peanuts in it?
Mattered, James. That's so funny. Do you not
We've
know
been talking
James?
about that for like weeks. No,
Do
I
you
don't think I know.
Oh, James is great. He's great.
Is there
That's so
peanuts in
funny.
this? You're eating peanut butter, dickhead.
No. He didn't eat. He said, "Is there anything on the tray I might be allergic to?" And he goes, "I have a peanut allergy." And I said, "Well, there's a peanut butter jelly sandwich on there." I think something touched.
Oh, I
we
thought he was
like,
eating
took a bite. And
No,
was
no,
like,
no,
"Is
no,
there
no.
Peanuts in this. And
Something
you're
like-
it's peanut butter and jelly.
If you have a
Yeah,
peanut
you can't
allergy,
even
like
get around it.
you can't even whiff it. So there you go, being all hard on the kid. But is this the new? This is the new water, by the way. Is this the new?
No,
Liquid
that's
Death?
booze.
Oh,
This
pirate
is,
water.
This is like,
Everyone thinks it's water.
We might have.
Well, it's because it says water on it.
Yeah, no, it's
Well, liquid
You know what?
death
You know what
really
very
fucked
much it
you up.
is.
Like that would never would be water if it wasn't for liquid death. We partnered up with the Four Loco people, so this is 10% alcohol. It's 16 ounces.
Jesus Christ.
$2.
What is
See
it?
you later. It's four different flavors. It's like all pirate.
Is it like a
the pirate
Truly?
theme. No,
Yeah.
well, yeah,
it's
but
a malt
it's not
beverage.
like a
Yeah.
it's malt. It's not like just plain. It's all flavored though. It's not just like seltzer. It's like a malt flavored with Sex on the Beach, Bahama Mama, Margarita, and Miami Vice. So it's all for brown bag in it, and
So you get a margarita. It's a canned margarita.
yeah, pretty much.
Got it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
and it says 10% alcohol by volume. You have like one of those, and you're like, I'm almost there.
I would drink one, but I got shit to do today.
Yeah, you still booze, right? You're one of the
Oh yeah.
one of the last few out there. You guys gotta hold on.
I ain't going down. It's too fun. Why does anybody stop? I don't understand.
The hangovers just started to kill me. I haven't like fully
you
stopped,
quit?
but not fully, but in practice, basically, yeah. But like when we went to Amsterdam with Bert, like I can still get out there and do it. But like the everyday, a few times a week, just go out.
Yeah, no,
and
that
get
I
fucked
get.
up.
You can't. Yeah, if you have, I get it. You can't have
I'll
that.
have a few espresso martinis. I like a lot of those. Been drinking those forever. But I'm not the type who's gonna go home and just like whack a 6-pack and be like,
No. I've never been that kind of drinker either. The most I do at home is maybe a couple of glasses of wine
Yeah.
with dinner.
But you still
But
like
then
to go
that
out
wine,
and get,
that wine goes fast. I'll be like, I'll have a glass of wine, and I'm like,
Yeah.
wait, I'm on a second bottle.
Yeah,
How the
that
fuck
happens
did
real
happen?
quick.
I live alone though too, so like drinking at home is not a hard thing for me to avoid.
Mm.
You know, like it's not that fun.
But you'll
So-
still go out and fucking throw them back like 20 drinks.
I'm single, so it's like
Yeah.
it's kind of hard not to. Like 'cause
Right.
it's like
Are you on the apps? Dating
fuck no,
Yeah.
dude. I don't need that bullshit.
These bitches just come to me.
That's
as
not what
it
I meant.
is.
That's not what I said.
Yeah, no, that's.
But I know how to
DeRosa
have
quote
a
'em,
conversation.
These bitches flock
bitches
to me.
No, I just you meet. I live in New York. You meet people left and right, and you know how I know how to have a fucking conversation.
You
Dude,
go.
it
You
is
go up to
really-
women at a bar. Are you a goddamn predator?
I don't
You
need
get thrown
to.
in jail for that.
No. I don't need to approach anybody.
Oh, once
These
again,
bitches come to me. No, I don't mean it like that. I just mean like I just mean
Friend
like,
of a friend. You go to a party. You get
dude,
introduced.
I'm a stand-up
Next thing you know,
comic.
you're inside them.
I'm in. I do stand-up comedy. I own a bar. I work in entertainment. I podcast.
Pussy.
You meet
Pussy.
people.
Pussy. I
I'm
make
just saying, like,
sandwiches. Pussy.
There's no shortage of opportunities to meet other human beings. Is my point.
That's why
So,
I've always said, like,
You know.
because everything is work with us, where it's like, where'd you meet that person? We're like, that person. I'm at work. And then.
Yeah, and then also too, you have, like you said, you have friends of friends. Also too, you have your hangouts. You have places like I live on the Lower East Side. I have places that I go to, and you go and you meet people, and like
And
it's
they
like
fuck you. They just like, oh my god, you're Joe DeRosa. I want to suck your dick. it's just how it goes for this guy. Some guys they
why
got
are
it
you
like
trying
that.
to get me canceled?
I'm just trying to get you laid
Oh,
more,
I
bro.
mean, but dude, like the apps. Look, I say fuck no like that, not because I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
a player. I don't mean it like that. Those things are so fucking bad for you. It's unbelievable. It's like
People
looking
go
at
on, like,
fucking
8
TikTok.
days a week. 8 dates a week. It's like, what the
Dude,
fuck
they
is
do,
wrong with
dude.
them, man?
I can't think of anything. No offense to anybody in the room on the apps. I know we got some young people, but I can't think of anything worse for you than reducing yourself and reducing somebody else to a series of bullet points. And I don't care how much people think it hastens a process. I don't care how much people think it cuts bullshit out of the all of that stuff is part of life, and it's part of what a human connection is made out of. You can connect to a human being that you never in a million years thought on paper you could ever have a connection with. Those apps will alleviate the opportunity for that.
Some processes shouldn't be hastened. Where like particularly the person you're going to spend most of your time with.
Also, do you want to appreciate something? Do you want to appreciate a person that you are with? Well, you know, you got to go through some trial and error. That's what creates appreciation.
I think
like
the idea of seeing someone. You could read the bullet points and be like, yeah, they're good. But you see someone, how they like behave at a bar, and how they order a drink, how they're with their friends. You know, you can get much more of a vibe off of someone that way than answering, what's my favorite movie, you know?
Not to mention, too, think about the mental damage it's doing to people, that the amount of people, male and female, that are misrepresenting themselves on these apps, that are lying about how they look, that are filtering their photos, all this stuff. You hit 3-4 of those in a row. Think about what that does to your trust of other people and what your assumption of what another person's intentions may or may not be. It's bad for you. Yeah. It's fucking bad for you. And look, if you live in the middle of, we're losing the audience. If you live in the middle of bumfuck Idaho or something like that, and you're like, hey man, you know, what do you want from me? There's not a lot of opportunities out here to meet people. I'm certainly not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna pick up on people at the Bonefish Grill or whatever chain you live near. That to me is a little more understandable. But people doing this that live in New York City, or Los Angeles, or they love it in LA. Are you on Raya? No, fuck moron. Get away from me.
Raya's the one too where it's like, it's almost like with Twitter when like the minor league baseball player everyone got a check mark. Yeah. Like Raya was the exclusive thing, and it's like,
to be famous.
The guy who DJs at the Irish pub is on Raya? How the fuck did that happen?
I mean, it's just, like, you know, you live in a major city. Yeah. What are you doing, dude? Get out in your city. Like, experience your city. Go and meet people. Like, sorry, your life is not a fucking job interview, man. You can't just tick boxes. It takes time. It takes effort. If you think swiping your way into true love is the answer, you deserve to be alone for the rest of your life. And I stand on that.
Ending right there. Beautiful. All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.